Hello and welcome back to another Cosmere Corner discussion video. Today we're mostly going to be talking about Edgedancer because I finally finished it a few months before Oathbringer came out. I'm such a great person.
I'm still embarrassed.
You're embarrassed for me.
I'm embarrassed for you. That's how bad it is.
I know. I just had stuff. I've had stuff. Anyway, so quick news before we go on. The only things that have really been of note from Brandon and Dragonsteel recently have been that you can read the first few chapters of Oathbringer on Tor's website. I haven't touched it yet because I kind of want the entire meat in front of me, the big juicy steak that is Oathbringer before I start eating it. Don't want a little nibble because then I just won't want to stop, you know? And then the sample will be done.
I nibbled. I had a forkful or two.
No!
A Kaladin chapter or so.
Hesse!
And holy cow.
Stop!
Oh.
Stop! All right. So, Oathbringer, you can read it on Tor's website. We'll link that in the description. I'm not going to touch it. Hesse might. He already has. They're going to post more.
I'm
weak. You're weak. Okay. And the other news is the album, the Kaladin Stormblessed album by Black Piper on Kickstarter, has reached some new milestones, and they're adding more perks and more donation ranges. So give that a check and, support it.
Mm-hmm. What's it?
What's it at?
Yeah.
I think it's at, the email I got, the backer update was, I think, 40,000.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And that's 40,000 out of 110,000.
Let me just go check out the progress.
I think Jasonion made it.
You can just do Jason.
All right, thank you.
Oh yeah, so 43,398, and
Excellent.
They're actually a little less than halfway to their goal.
Mm-hmm. And the short explanation is it's a book of awesome cinematic music based on, I think, The Way of Kings especially, and it's got a book of art that goes with it.
If you get that art book, they adjusted the price recently for that
Okay.
art book backing because more people wanted it. Understandably so.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get right into Edgedancer here.
Yeah, for sure.
So probably one of my biggest questions coming out of Edgedancer, I've got three main questions. One, Szeth's nature in the scheme of all this, because he's not entirely bad, as evident by him sparing Lift. Oh, by the way, spoilers for Edgedancer and the greater Cosmere inside.
Never open one of these up without being ready for heavy spoilers.
Like, either read the book or just be ready to talk deep Cosmere.
I would hate to spoil this.
Yeah, it's good. Like, I gotta say, Edgedancer was good. So, Szeth's nature in the greater scheme of things, and Nightblood, because Nightblood had a little bit of a role, just a little cameo again. Lift and the Night Watcher, because apparently she sought the Night Watcher out and asked to not age. So, like, how old is Lift? And I think my other one was Heralds.
Well, I thought she explained this. She's been 10 for 3 years now.
Yeah, but she also said that she's slowly aging and that shouldn't happen.
Oh, okay. I was mostly making a joke, honestly. I thought that was...
Pokemon. I'm not sure if she's 10 exactly. I just know she's young, so I just
10
assumed
because you
right.
can count it on two hands.
Oh,
Anything other than that is an unlucky
I thought it was
number.
an Ash Ketchum reference.
Yeah, no.
No?
You were looking too deep.
Darn. Who would have thought that here in the Cosmere Corner we were looking too deep?
Checkmate.
Yep.
But
All right, so...
yes, that's nature in there.
And Aimians.
Uh-huh.
Like, what incarnation are these things?
Yeah, those things bug me.
Okay, no. We got to be serious. No puns right now. We got to talk about this because this is borderline okay, but it's still a kind of much because I mean they're immortal, they're creepy as heck, and that Aimian took down 2 Skybreakers, albeit trainees,
2 journeymen,
like it was nothing. Like, Lift comes in there, and it doesn't even look like there was a fight. I mean, he's rebuilding himself, but that's just because Kremlings are just holding himself together. And they're just dead. I don't even remember how they were killed. Like, Lift saw the bodies, I think, but I don't remember the description.
Chomped.
They were chomped?
They were a little...
so, like...
yeah.
Is it...
They were holy when he was done with them.
So I'm thinking kind of like...
so flesh-eating insects that make up a man, that's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and he never sleeps.
Never. Well, yes, hence the name Sleepless. But like, if we look at the map of Roshar, the Aimian island, it looks different from the rest of the map. There's way less features on it. It's just this one flat expanse on the map.
Mm-hmm.
And there are 2 races on there, and they're both of immortal beings, which is weird. They're the Daisian Aimians and the, Saya Aimians. They're non-human.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, non-human entities in the Cosmere that can work at the level of humans is also kind of weird because...
That is unusual.
Yes, it is. And Sanderson has kind of hinted at that shards can be held by non-human entities. So...
That's what we need. An already immortal being made of thousands of micro beings.
Yeah.
Holding the power of a shard. That'd be as if it wasn't overpowered enough to just have a shard bearer.
But
shard
yeah,
holder.
it's just... I don't know, man.
So what I really think is interesting about, like, you kind of were implying that they seemed a little overpowered.
Just a little. I mean, they're immortal.
Like, Aimia was scoured. That's the word they use for it every time, is the scouring of Aimia.
What does that mean, though?
Well, that it's not exactly hospitable right now. That much we know.
Was it just, like, pillaged, or what happened there?
Well, see, I think it's
on the wrong side of the world to be hit by high storms. Like, only the Everstorm can hit that bad boy right now.
Everyone always, in fact, wow, the Everstorm could slaughter Aimia.
Which reminds me,
But everyone always uses the word scoured, which kind of implies to me that's more than your average war.
Mm-hmm.
So either it was like a war beyond war, or...
Just like Almighty Shard, like, I don't like this place.
Yeah.
Boom.
I can
You're
see
gone.
Odium's testing ground for hate nukes.
For void bringers.
What I think is really interesting is that even though they're these ridiculously overpowered beings, and you do, like, one of the 2 times that we see them, one is in The Way of Kings. You get a chapter with Axias the Collector. I think that's how you say his name.
I don't remember that chapter. What happened
it was so cool. He was the guy who could, like, make tattoos all over his body, and he was writing notes about Spren.
Oh, wait, he was the guy that quantified Spren?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's cool because...
Oh, no, quantified Spren, that was a Thalen guy.
Yeah, because...
But it was the guy who woke up and he had fallen asleep on the homeless guy's Temple of the Gods. You remember this? It was a pretty funny chapter.
I'm picking it up. It's been a while. I need to reread Way of Kings because
killing me, Jason.
Hey, so
I'm pulling the weight.
Viewer at home here, we've got a stack of all of my Cosmere books, which is all of them except for 2 Mistborn books because I left those upstairs.
What's that gotta be?
But it is hefty. They're all the hardcover. I mean, there's a lot there. There's tons. Like, I was rereading Hope. Well, actually, I was reading Hope of Elantris earlier today. I just realized all this stuff I'd forgotten about Cell and Aeons, and just, oh my gosh, they don't even know. Like, we're getting off topic because this is supposed to be a Roshar discussion, but so we'll get back to that in a minute. But like the Elantrians, they don't even know what most of the Aeons do. They haven't even discovered a lot of the Aeons, some of the more powerful ones.
Well, I mean, off topic, but we do see some pretty special Elantrians.
Yeah.
In, like, secret history.
And yeah, the Irie,
yeah.
Which, gosh, no.
But
I can't, because
you're right. The majority of it in Elantris and Hope of Elantris, it's mostly just an unknown magic system. I think time-wise, and I'm going out on a limb with this one, but I think that time-wise...
It's pretty early.
It is pretty early compared to The Way of Kings.
But another weird thing about the Irie is when Chris is talking about... I think she was talking about Cell. It was that segment on the Cellish system.
Yeah.
Chris had mentioned that the Irie don't really like talking to the Silverlights, which is
the University of Silverlight, and
like,
then you also have the 17th Shard.
Yes.
So there are 3 big factions going on.
At least. Because there's the Irie, the Traveling Elantrians, that don't like to play well with others and are looking to take other forms of investiture. Like, they were there looking for preservation.
Yeah.
In secret history.
No, they were ready to pick that right up and get out of there like bandits.
Mm-hmm. And then there's the Silverlights, which are the academic side, which Chris is part of. And then there's the 17th Shard, which is kind of this branching organization of just behind-the-scenes work that Chris is kind of a part of, but Hoyd was definitely a part of, and now he's kind of rogue. But the weird thing to me is that Galadon, an Elantrian, is a member of the 17th Shard and not the Aerie. Does that seem weird to you?
That does. I never thought about that, but wow.
Yeah.
There's got to be a story there.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, back to Roshar and the Aimians. So the one that can change his the tattoos on his skin, that's a Saya Aimian. Mm-hmm. And it says here on the Coppermind.
You got to remember this. He sees Kusikesh, the giant spren that comes out of the water.
Comes out of the ocean. I remember that
yeah.
image of him coming out, and I remember that the guy had blue fingernails, but that's pretty much all I remember.
Yeah,
about
he
him.
was a blue guy with...
Why do I remember that he has blue fingernails, but I can't remember that he can change tattoos on his body?
I mean, the fingernails are pretty unusual, I'll give you that.
Yeah. But doesn't Lopen have blue fingernails too? I remember that someone in Bridge 4...
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. There's
Lopen's
all sorts
awesome.
of weird stuff with the races around there. Possibly because of Parshendi human intermingling.
And
I don't know.
So the Sleepless killed those two Skybreakers during the Everstorm when it was going over that cavern city, the trench city. But they had received word from Shinovar about the storm. Like, the storm had already hit that side.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Alethkar.
Yeah. And I'm just worried about Shinovar, because Shinovar was, like, one of my favorite places to read about.
For all of one chapter.
Yeah. Like, I just loved it. I'm like, oh, man, this is so weird, because it's familiar to me, but completely alien to everyone else here.
Yeah, they're like, dude, the grass doesn't even move.
Whoa, dude, look at that
grass,
chicken.
Like, on the grass.
Dude.
But, yeah, no, Shinovar has to be trashed.
Just absolutely destroyed.
I mean, that's what happens when Odium shows up to your party and starts throwing things.
Makes it a dead man's party.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, man, like, for how much we learned about Lift in Edgedancer and the Everstorm we can extrapolate from, there's a lot we don't know. Things have been revealed, like, oh wow, look at all these
what
Aimians.
Else is new?
All these Aimians, they're so cool. Wait a second. Aimians? Hordlings? What? Why aren't they in Aimia? Why are there multiple of them? How do they know the Radiants? Why are the Radiants insane? Like, all the Radiants we've met now.
Heralds?
Yes, that's my bad. Heralds, Radiants, the Heralds lead the Knights Radiant, their order. That's what I was trying to get at.
I get you.
There's a lot of terms.
There
Lots
are.
of terms. Like, if you had a vocabulary sheet, boy, oh boy.
Oh, man.
Miles.
We need to put one of those together.
No, I don't want to torture myself. I still have to make a logo for Cosmere Corner. I mean, I have one sketched in Notebook, but
But really, I mean, all the heralds we've seen
are insane. That's because they can't die. I remember at the beginning of Way of Kings, they were talking about how they were so tired of this war because they kept dying and coming back because they're heralds.
Well, dying and being tortured or fighting and coming back.
And then there was one guy who broke the pact, and that locked them into this cycle. They can't die.
That's Jezreza. He was the head. And I remember there was this really cool specific part where, I don't remember which one was narrating, but he said that he looked into Jezreza's eyes, and this was the leader. He was the most noble one out of all of them. And he said, gosh, he was broken too. All of them were. And you're really seeing how busted up these guys are. I mean, you got one that's over there in an insane asylum in Alethkar. You got one that's running around he's in utter denial. That's Nalan. He's just killing Radiants left and right. Surge binders.
Yeah.
But it's
just, man.
And we've got 8 more out there that we still haven't even seen.
And 7 more books after Oathbringer.
Yeah, and frankly, we haven't really seen either of the 2 that we've seen, hardly at all.
Yeah, right?
So,
Oh, man. There's just... So what are the other Radiants doing? Because the Radiant of Justice, the...
Yeah, Melon.
Fun fact, Sanderson kind of Javert from Les Mis, the justice guy.
Yeah.
He kind of put some of Javert in Milan. Like you can see it, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
all I
No,
did
you
was
could
steal a
definitely
loaf
see
of
it.
bread. Well, I will hunt you to the day I die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's classic.
Mm-hmm.
Classic, right?
I mean, he tries to avoid doing that with his
Actually,
characters.
that happens in Edgedancer. A little girl steals a loaf of bread, and he shanks her
with a shard blade.
with a shard blade.
So she's host.
And then breaks out the forms, of course,
Yeah.
and says, "I'd like you to sign here, here, and here. This is a legal authorized
It was a
death."
fruit, by the way.
Oh, a fruit. Okay, close enough. So totally Les Mis, though.
Nah, I think fruit's completely different from a loaf of bread.
You're right. That's entirely different. I was off base.
Unique
Maybe
idea.
I should go and read the Stormlight Archive, right, Jason?
Gee, yeah.
I need to get on that.
I need to reread these books. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's all me. I'm sorry. I see the fault in my ways.
Yes.
I'll get to that.
Hey, I said I was going to read them.
Yeah,
we're good.
We'll
I'll
see if
I'll
it
get to it.
happens.
Oh, man.
But
All right, so do you have any questions about Edgedancer that you wanted to bring up?
what I thought was really interesting that you mentioned earlier was that Szeth, which we've normally seen as kind of the reluctant villain,
Yeah.
after his kind of death, he's been doing nice things,
Yeah.
relatively speaking.
So, again, with Szeth, real quick, his
Yeah.
death. Because in Edgedancer, he mentions that was after I died, and there's this weird after image on Szeth. Did that used to happen?
After image on Szeth, what do you
Yeah,
mean?
because Lift has described it multiple times
Oh,
that when he
that's
moved,
right.
there was an after image.
I think that's all new.
Is that after his death, or is that Nightblood's doing? Like,
Well, I mean,
unintended side effect of
You can leave it
crossing over stuff?
to Nalthus magic to mess with visuals, but
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because, like,
I'm thinking that's probably it.
is it because he's being
it's-
forced to use Stormlight as breath?
Yeah.
And the sheer amount of Stormlight or breath he has kind of causes that glow after
Oh,
image
that's cool.
from Nalthus.
I can see it.
Yeah, but Szeth, all of the kings he killed, that was kind of because he had the Oath Stone. Like, people told him to do that. That wasn't his will, per se, but he still saw what he was doing, knew what he was doing, and that's why he feels so tortured. So, like, he's reluctant, but he's kind of broken by that and thinks that that's what he has to be. At least how I see it. So he's kind of adopting, like, yeah, I'm the assassin White, the king killer, the reluctant assassin.
Yeah.
But he spares Lift just because Nightblood likes her.
Yeah. He pulls out Nightblood just a little bit,
And
and
the mist rolls out. And like, oh, shoot, we're going to see Nightblood in action on Roshar, on Lift. Oh, no.
yeah.
And then,
And then Lift is saying she feels super sick to her stomach, and
Yeah.
he's just like, yeah, all right, and puts it back.
like, why didn't you
So-
kill me? Yeah, the sword likes you.
Yeah. That's a pretty crazy sounding sentence.
Yeah, the sword likes you.
Only in Sando.
Only in Brando
I would
Sandoz
kill
does.
you, but the sword likes you.
Szeth isn't that. Like, he's crazy, but he's not,
He's not the he's-
raving lunatic.
He's
crazy.
broken, not
Yeah.
crazy. But what I think is really cool is he is looking to find some moral code now that he's not on the
He is
the
with
Oathstone.
He is with the Skybreakers.
That's
the
true, but he
Justice.
stood up to Nalan.
Yeah.
He stood up to the herald of his order, and the herald of his order said, look, that's not what you do if you want to get good.
Does that mean that? Because if he's running around with the Skybreakers, and they ask, like, the two apprentices are like, "You coming, assassin?" Like,
Yeah.
implying that he can fly. He doesn't have his honor blade, which gave him those abilities in the first place. Does he have a Spren now, or is he
I
just?
guess he must.
Yeah.
What were they called again?
Or is
High Spren.
High Spren? He's with a High Spren,
Mm-hmm.
like Dalinar with the Stormfather.
Well, no.
'Cause-
High Spren is a name for a type of Spren.
Yeah, but isn't the Stormfather technically a High Spren? He's
No,
this,
he's a god Spren.
a God Spren, which is what Dalinar's...
Back to the vocab list.
Because Dalinar is bonded with this God Spren, Stormfather, which is kind of a big splinter of
Which
honor.
is pretty awesome.
It is pretty awesome. But can he not summon a Shard Blade then?
No, because the Stormfather said, "Yeah, look, I don't I don't do the cute little butter knife thing.
Going back to there.
He's look, I've been around the block.
Like, literally, I'm in the high storms as they go across the world.
I'm the reason some of those happen.
You might say I'm a big deal, but I've trusted you. To everyone else, their spren or their companion. Some might say pet. I don't think that's appropriate. But you're mine. You're my pet project, Dalinar.
Yeah, no
honor.
joke. That's kind of how it is.
Yeah.
Dalinar is the one bonded to the Stormfather, not the other way around.
Yeah.
Because the Stormfather already has sentience.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Weird. That's so weird.
Yeah, I just thought about that. That's a major purpose.
Oh.
Why did the Stormfather agree? What is he gonna do?
And then Dalinar can't use a normal shard blade anymore, can he? Or can
No, not a normal shard blade.
Because if you're bonded with a spren and you touch a normal shard blade, the dead spren, it messes with you, as evident by Kaladin.
Yeah. It's over there like your live spren is screaming. This space is already taken.
Error 404 spren not found.
Oh boy. But it's not good. We see that with
But that sucks. Because Dalinar was really good with a shard blade, and now he can't.
Well, that's true, but he was really good with a sword.
Yeah, but a sword versus a shard blade?
Fair enough, but...
Like, he can use a shard bow, and they have half shards.
Wait a minute, yeah, they have half shards. I could see him making, like, a half shard sword. Oh, that would be cool.
That would be cool.
So it could block a few blows. And he does have plate still.
Yeah, he has plate. Plate's fine.
Which, by the way, kind of implies a difference between the sword and the plate.
Yeah, well, here's why. Because the swords are just dead spren.
But what are the plates?
The plates are powered by Stormlight and the gems.
Is that a Fabrial?
It's pretty much a Fabrial, I think.
I don't buy it.
Well, that's how half shards work. The half shards are essentially Fabrials.
But look, they added gemstones to the shard blades as well. They did add those so that you could bond them.
I guess so.
I think that possibly these are retrofitted Radiant gear, just like the... Wow, when you say it like that, it sounds post-apocalyptic.
Retrofitted Radiant gear bought from a local thrift store.
No, you don't. You don't find that at a thrift store. Or if you do, you hop in it and walk out.
As they're losing their minds, like, I'm going to go pawn off my armor for a couple of spheres.
Yep.
Oh, man. Oh, no, what it would be like is they're like, okay, so I need to find some spheres to power my armor. What can I sell to get spheres to power my armor?
I've only got my armor.
I gotta sell my armor.
I could sell my armor to power my armor.
To get spheres to... Because they are going insane, so...
Well, insane?
Yeah, at least a couple of them. There's varying degrees of it, but you can't tell me that the one in the insane asylum, although has
That's
some
a
knowledge.
Herald, not a Radiant.
Gosh,
you're mixing them up again. You got to remember, that's the guy that got locked
That's what I meant to say.
when the other 9 Heralds went away.
That's what I meant to say.
Which is really like dirtbag move of the,
Yeah,
the 10
it's
millennia
pretty bad.
this goes down.
So,
There's going to be a fight there.
there is when they all get back together.
Holy shoot.
Yeah.
I'd pay to see that.
You will pay to see that.
I will.
That's how books work.
You're right.
Unless you go to a library.
Oh, man. But
Pay-per-view. Pay-per-view.
pay-per-view. That's...
Yeah. I thought I was done with puns, but that one was too good to pass up.
Well, the punishment never cease.
Yeah, it won't. There was one more thing about
Just keep chaining
Heralds
together.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
And I lost my train of thought in that pun.
Well, hi. I'm Harold, your friendly neighborhood Herald.
Friendly neighborhood Herald, the Herald of puns.
But I'm really excited to see what the other Radiants are up to, and if they're refounding their orders, just like Nalan. Go.
No, go ahead. I'm just doing
Okay.
this to remember.
All right. We've only seen one where he is doing it, and he has a major motivation to do it, which is Nalan, and then we've seen Talanel. That was his name, who got locked in. Talanel Stone Sinew, who got stuck, and he's way too broken to wipe himself, let alone.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
By the way, you gotta check that out in the books. We have one chapter where Talonel walks in and drops the shard blade, and it's like really short. And then we've got another really short chapter where we see him a few other times in there. So I highly recommend looking at the Radiants, pitching in on what you think maybe some of the other 8 are doing.
All right, so this is the last official topic.
Okay.
We're going to run out of time because we kind of got a range for this video. How important in the timeline and to Honor's life do you think it was when the Heralds gave up, when they broke the oath? Do you think that might have been one of the things that gave Odium the upper hand to kill Honor while he had cultivation on his side?
I mean, these guys are crazy invested people.
They're nearly splinters of how much investiture Honor has poured into
I think they probably are splinters.
Yeah.
Or splinters?
Because they were
Slivers.
fighting Voidbringers on another planet. I think it was Braze that they were fighting them on.
Which is the coolest.
Which is where Odium had kind of set up camp. Mm-hmm. Honor had taken the battle from Roshar onto Braze. He was kind of pushing Odium back because he had cultivation helping him out. That's 2 shards working together to fight Odium.
And then these guys say, yeah, our job is awful.
These Heralds can't take the punishment anymore.
Nearly enough sick days. Can we, have a day or 2 of vacation, Honor, please?
And Honor's like,
we
no.
are so underpaid.
You don't understand what's going on here. I can die. I am a shard of Adonalsium. And if I slip up a little bit here, you guys made an oath to me. I could die.
Maybe you don't understand how important oaths are. They're kind of
my thing.
They're like a big deal to me.
I've got a nice thing going on here. I got a wife. I got a planet with tons of kids. I'm living the nice life. And this dude comes up, parks on
He storms in,
parks on my lawn, and starts sending these things to terrorize my kids and my planet, and try to kill me and my wife. This is not okay. You guys got to help me. And because he's Honor, he thinks that Honor is the best way to solve the problem. Entrust people, make them have an oath, invest in them, because he's Honor. That's his intent.
That is, that's very honorable. Say, prove your honor.
Yeah. And if they were to break that oath, that huge oath, that they were leading these orders of Radiance, he'd invested in the Radiance, he'd invested in the Heralds, he'd invested in the world, the magic system, everything. Mm-hmm. And kind of one of his biggest investments, his biggest oath and honor, just falls apart and just says, no, we're done with this. Do you think that loss, both, because they're mental and emotional beings as well. They have emotions and feelings, as evident by Szeth.
Well, and Fuzz.
And Fuzz, yeah.
But, yeah, definitely.
So that emotional and psychological blow of the people he'd invested, I assumed, had a lot of faith and confidence in. Maybe even friends or looked at them as special children. Or students.
That would be a cool thing to look at. Maybe these guys are Yolish.
Yolish?
Maybe he's getting the band back together. That was his
these were
plan.
his buddies?
Oh, yeah.
That could be interesting, actually.
Yeah, I'd like to see where the Heralds are from, because it does mention as well with Talonel that he's dark-skinned, but he speaks Alethi like a native, which, you've got 10,000 years.
Yeah,
you can learn.
You can learn.
But even still, he may have started the language.
Yeah, maybe.
He's old enough.
So I think that maybe that betrayal gave Odium the upper hand because of the psychological and emotional scar, and investiture-wise.
Well, frankly, you look at, it's in Secret History we get one of the best looks that we have at shard-on-shard warfare, because Kelsier is actually involved.
Yeah.
You get to see what it looks like from his perspective, and really even just a little advantage or disadvantage goes a huge distance. Because when you have beings this big, there's a lot of strat.
Yeah.
So.
But that's kind of assuming that each shard has equal power to begin with.
You're right. And that has been mentioned. We to begin with, we know that they were equal. But after that, we don't know anything about their power levels.
Yeah, because it depends on how much they invest in places like preservation. He invested a little bit more of himself into the planet and the people than Ruin did.
Also, this is purely Jesse's theory, but maybe it's possible to pick up Investiture as you go along.
Then why isn't Odium? Because you can pick up multiple shards. Again, Szeth
Well, but I'm
and
saying
Harmony.
like unaffiliated Investiture, maybe.
How?
Unaffiliated.
Because I mean,
Does that?
I think because there is a giant well. Most of the Investiture is the giant well in the spiritual realm. That's where most people draw the magic for their magic systems. I said draw really weird.
Yeah. Well, I was ready for you to say it's a giant well in the spirit in the sky.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry, but yeah, there is the big pool.
I mean, and it can be in other realms, but it works best in the spiritual. Like on Cell, it's in the cognitive realm, which has physical location. Sorry.
Just thinking of long abandoned Investiture, like the stuff on First of Sun.
First of Sun.
That's just been sitting out. I mean, it was originally from Ambition and Odium.
You think so?
I think was it from them?
No, it doesn't say. Like,
oh, that one we didn't know anything about.
Chris was really confused. Like, why is there Investiture here? I mean, there would have had to have been. She said there probably would have had to have been something there before, but there's just random pools of Investiture on that planet. I don't remember if it was Braze or if it was.
It must have been one of the
Braze,
other planets for Ambition versus Odium. So that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
But there is Investiture that we don't know much about like that. I think it's really plausible that Odium's going around like, I'll pick up some change here and
just
some
a little bit
change
of this,
here.
a little bit of that.
Yeah, exactly. And he doesn't have anywhere to invest. So.
No, not really. He's kind of just invested himself in wherever he's attacking.
Yeah.
That kind of makes me think of Yolen, actually. Like, would their Investiture, because we don't know anything about their magic system except for it had light weaving. We know that there were light weavers on Yolen.
Well, and we know that it was not weaving light, I think.
I don't know. Let's just say that we know, because we know there were light weavers.
It's
on
interesting.
Yolen. Yeah, it's
about
different.
all I know.
But yeah, I think that the Heralds and their betrayal of honor has a bigger role in the downfall of honor than we think.
And we're gonna get some really cool story about that, I imagine.
I mean,
you could probably, like, maybe book 10 takes place like 1,000 years before anything else.
Yeah, maybe, or maybe like all of the interludes in one book, or a great majority of them are of the first desolation.
I can see it. Yeah, the first desolation. That would be.
There have been multiple desolations, right?
Many.
Yeah. But only the desolations only happen when Odium is messing with stuff, right?
Yep. Because that's a desolation. He comes in and says, "Yo, I want to beat you up."
It's like, I've recovered, and I'm ready to go. I almost made him sound like Obama.
Yeah, Barack Obama's getting in the ring. I've got an American haymaker for your jaw.
Honor. I'd just like to say that. Can't do it right now. Anyway, but yeah, I think that the Heralds did have a big role in Honor's downfall, or at least some role.
Definitely.
All right. Anything else?
Well, I'm going to reread that prologue.
Yeah,
that's about all for me.
I really need to reread that prologue. If anything from Wave, I need to read all of Wave Kings again. But
apparently,
I need to read the prologue especially.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to add?
I think that about gets it. Thank you for listening in.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening and watching. We'd like to hear what you thought in the comments. And as always, subscribe for more Cosme-related content. All right, guys. Bye.
Stay classy.